views expressed on this program are not those of intellectualradio.com, its subsidiaries, or sponsors. Encouraging, educating, and empowering you into action. This is Warriors Talk with your host, Lady ReShell.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we move away from awareness towards action. This is Testimonial Monday, and we are live on Intellectual Radio. We just heard from Roman with the Drive at 5. So keep it locked right here on Intellectual Radio and allow us to feed your brain. Our topic for today is beauty in cancer. And the show is being sponsored by Emanuel Church of God in Christ with Pastor Michael Richardson, located at 3058 West Van Buren in Chicago. They are still practicing social distancing, so you can catch the Word of God every Sunday morning at 10:15 a.m. on the Facebook page, Emanuel Kojic. The quote of the day is, "Never be ashamed of a scar." It simply means you are stronger than whatever tried to hurt you. If you are tuning in right now to the show, do me a favor, please like and share the show. Invite somebody else in on the show. You can start a watch party on the show. This is going to be an amazing show today. A young lady is going to share her testimony about beauty in cancer. And I know a lot of you say, what? Is there beauty in cancer? Well, we're going to find out today. And according to statistics, about 1 in 8 women, that's 12%, will develop invasive breast cancer in their lifetime. And this year, 2020, it's estimated that 276,480 new cases of invasive breast cancer is to be expected in women in the U.S. About 42,170 of those women will die. On average, it's estimated that every 2 minutes, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer, and every 13 minutes, a woman dies. But today, we're going to talk about the beauty that's in breast cancer. And we're going to talk about how to actually take charge of breast cancer as well, or any type of cancer. So if you were diagnosed with cancer, then the first thing that you need to do is to decide to take care and take charge of that cancer. And the first thing that you can do is to process that diagnosis. So you just have been given a diagnosis by your doctor and you looking like, oh my goodness, like what am I going to do? The first thing you can do is have a conversation with yourself. Have that conversation with yourself before you open up to anybody else. And then once you have that conversation with yourself, the second thing that you can do is to accept that diagnosis. And I mentioned this before, when you accept a diagnosis, you're not accepting defeat, but you are identifying who the adversary is and how to create your weapons of mass destruction. The third thing that you can do to take charge of cancer is to get all the facts. So find out what type of cancer it is, what stage it is, what's the percentage of survival, and what's the best treatment. The fourth thing that you can do is to take action. So now you have processed the diagnosis, you accepted the diagnosis, and you got all the facts from your doctor. The fourth thing to do is to take action with that cancer. And that means to make sure you're going to all of your appointments. Okay.
I mean, for Warriors Talk?
This is Warriors Talk. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, this is Warriors Talk. Who am I speaking with?
This is Angie.
Hello, Angie.
Hey, beautiful. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm blessed.
Awesome. Well, I am joined by Angie Money, who is a breast cancer survivor. She's a blogger and also an entrepreneur, and she's going to be sharing her journey with us today. So welcome to Warriors Talk, Angie.
Thank you for having me.
I was just talking about right now, just telling individuals on how to take charge of cancer. And I know that your testimony does include taking charge of cancer. So thank you so much for just coming on, being vulnerable and willing to share your testimony with listeners.
So for me, I was diagnosed this year, 2 weeks before my 35th birthday, which was very dramatic. I mean, because it's your birthday, you want to enjoy it. And I was stage 3. And I had seen cancer with a lot of my family. My grandmother passed away at home from cancer, 4 of her sisters and 2 of their daughters. So I had saw it, and our family feared it. We had uncles who died from cancer. It was very heavy in the family. And me watching, I didn't see it firsthand until my grandmother went through it, and I was taking her to chemo and radiation and just watching how it did her body. And then I remember her begging to die. And that left this memory in my head of just the disease itself. It puts a lot of fear in you. And so when I was diagnosed, they said I was metastatic, which means I was terminally ill. And I said, I was already praying. I had a good relationship with God. And that day I went home, I prayed, and I said, I cannot do what I watched my grandmother do. I can't stomach it. I don't really take medicine anyway. I have to find another outlet. I just do. So I began to educate myself. I've ordered a ton of books, at least about 10 maybe, of healing herbs and different things, holistic approaches. I, researched holistic doctors, and I was already in that kind of lifestyle anyway, so it wasn't that hard to, find some certain sources. I went back to the doctor. We did find out that it wasn't metastatic, but it was very, very aggressive. It was at like a 96% rate, so it means it was growing very rapidly. And I just was not, I would always go to the doctor. I told them up front I was not going to do any of that. I didn't take any pain medicine or anything. Only time I would take the pain medicine, it would be, a couple of days after surgery because you're so sore, you don't want to risk infection. But I was very adamant about taking control of my life and the disease, because to doctors, we're just a number. They don't care about our bodies, and really they don't, to me. Not saying that they, haven't helped some people, but my belief is that they don't heal people. They practice medicine. And I watched them practice on my grandmother in surgery after surgery and other people. And I just wasn't going to do that. I said, okay, if it's my time, then it's my time. But whether it's my time or not, I'm going to take control. And every time I go to the doctor, educate myself. I need all of my pathology reports. And I go home and I pray and I research, okay, this is the tumor. And I had a notebook. And I decided that, I was going to take that route. I was going to have a double mastectomy. I wasn't going to do chemo or radiation. I went on a raw diet for 6 months. I was probably taking about 20 to 30 vitamins a day. But, I don't regret any of it. It wasn't an easy route. People are like, oh, it's still the same because the cancer still attacks your body. So you still have those effects from your body, have this foreign thing in there destroying it. So it's more painful because I don't have anything to really soothe the pain. And then it was COVID, and, it was so much.
So Angie,
but
I'm sorry. So seeing your family members, especially your grandmother, dealing with this cancer, you decided to go a different route, because what's best for you is best for you, and we know that all cancer diagnoses are not the same, and the treatment shouldn't be the same.
And but they kind of generalize it.
I agree.
They really do generalize it. Even all cancers aren't the same. Everything. This is the thing. Okay, you can have a tumor that's the size of a penny, and you can have a tumor that's the size of the golf ball. All the treatment is the same. And so I asked them when I got my after my second biopsy, because after I got the first one, I had to go really research and see what it was and read it. I did a bunch of reading on it. So I said, they take a drill and they take out parts of the tumor. So why you just won't take it all out? I asked them. You go in there, you take it out. Why you just can't take it all out? Well, we just want to get a sample. But you have the ability to go in there and just drill out a sample. You're in there anyway. So why put someone through so much? And so when they were offering my blood type is rare. So there were a lot of things that made them. They offered me a clinical trial because the things that were going on with my body and my results, they thought that this trial, however they felt that I would benefit from this trial, because they wanted to test me. Oh, this person had this high, rate, this 96 per rate is estrogen based. My tumor was 4.5 inches. And then they want to say, this is what the clinical trial did for her, right? But when in reality, if you have a mastectomy, it's not the clinical trial that's doing anything for you. The actual surgery removes the cancer from your body. It's how you treat your body. Everything else is because a holistic approach and chemo kind of can be considered the same thing. Chemo, it kills everything in the body, versus a holistic approach, which naturally restores your body to its natural settings, but in a healthier way. You see what I'm saying?
I totally get what you're saying. I think that a lot of people need to hear this, because when you go in there and they give you that diagnosis, fear goes over a lot of people. So a lot of us don't really take the time to research and to really
that's the problem. We let fear with everything in the world control. Right now, the state is, the world is being controlled through fear. It's always through fear, because when people fear, they control. So my mom is fearing. They all are. When they would see me, they would just cry, right? Because they're like, we never seen anybody in our family make it. We never did. Yeah. I'm the first one. I've made we never had anybody in our family that did that and made, you know what I'm saying, and made it. Even after everything was over, they didn't make it a year or two, So my mother and grandmother instantly saw me. They looked at me like death, And I said to her, she will be in the room. My doctor called her and told her one day, she's going to kill herself. The tumor is getting bigger. She won't take any of the medicine. And I said, and she was in that room praying. I remember her. Jesus. I said, Jesus, God too. He's the ruler of everything, everybody. I was raised in the church. I think we got the same God. And I done already talked to my God, and my God has already reassured me to not worry. And every time I was about to worry, he put people and things in place to make me not. And I said, okay, you're praying, but then you're also telling me to kill myself with chemo. And that was just me, not everybody. I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm speaking for me. Then are you really trusting God? He's a healer, right? Then why are you not trusting him like I am?
And I mean, you said something very, very powerful. When you pray and you ask God, you wait for the answer, and whatever it is that he gives you to do, then you're supposed to follow through on that. You're asking him, but a lot of time we ask him for stuff. We don't take the time to sit and listen. We ask him and then we go do what we want to do anyway, instead of taking that time to listen and really do what God tells us to do. And
we all were guilty of that, but I had to realize when on my path to, gaining a better relationship with God, and I came up with this. A car has one driver's seat, right? You're asking God to drive you to your final destination, to this place. But how you gonna ask him to drive you there if you're trying to get in the driver's seat yourself? It's only one seat.
That's true.
It's only one seat, only one. Who driving it, you or God? So when we try to do things on our own, how we gonna ask him for direction and then try to do it? So I told every time I said I talked to God, I prayed, and this is what it is. And when he's ready for me, he's ready for me. But what he's telling me is that I have something. You have this voice, and you have to start to show people and educate other young women, Black women, and help them to understand that this is your body. It is not their body. Do not let them manipulate. And they're very aggressive. My doctor even went so far as she had made me an appointment for a port. And I had told her I've been at chemo since day one. I get there, I'm thinking I'm going for another appointment. They like, we're putting the port in. I went completely off. So by the time we had surgery, me and my doctor was we was not on a good relationship at all. I would ask her for documentation. She wouldn't even give it to me. It'd be like a month or so ago past. We had a horrible relationship. I wanted to change oncologists before surgery, but it was too late.
I think a lot of people, Angie, need to have the same mentality that you have, because a lot of them let that fear override anything that their gut instinct would tell them. And so the doctors will try to rush you. They will try to tell you
Mm-hmm.
you don't have any other options. If you don't do X, Y,
Absolutely.
Z, then this is what's going to happen to you. And you're right about when you said, they have this one size fit all thing. So, okay, if you was diagnosed with this cancer, you're going to get this type of treatment. Everybody gets this type of treatment. But what if, like, my body makeup is different from everybody else's? So why are
And that's
you,
what I said.
yeah, so why are you putting that treatment to me instead of catering something to my specific body? And maybe we'll have better outcomes with individuals if that was done.
But even not cater. So
when I say cater, I mean
I know what you're.
you're looking at that individual, and because
Mm-hmm.
some people have different.
We're not an individual to them.
Right.
First of all, we're a dollar sign,
That's
and we're not an individual. We're a group of people
money.
who are just people who have cancer. And what the first thing we need to do is what they don't know. Even with that clinical trial that was inside of the cancer center. Mm-hmm. That clinical trial, so what happens with clinical trials, especially if you see them inside of the cancer centers, they're contracted. So they automatically, and sometimes it's financial and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's other benefits that the office benefits from them having them there. But for sure, if it's a clinical trial and they're inside of that facility, there's always compensation one way or the other. And so when I was going through, I had shared it with one person. I said, okay, one doctor's office visit with your oncologist, she see you for 5 minutes. It costs a couple $1,000s. The doctor, his name is Dr. Delvis. He's a holistic doctor in Grenada. He charges $100 for a doctor's visit via, whatever Zoom. I forget what it is.
Telehealth.
And they were like, yeah, you pay $100 for that. I said, well, you pay $2,000 to see her, and she don't even say nothing. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, the way that people are, the doctors program them is what I'm going to say, with the fear. I had a girl, she found out she had cancer 1 week. I was trying to talk to her and, tell, look, that's very small. I had a very massive tumor. We can get through this. I can hold your hand the whole way. I offered to go, to Springfield, to help her. But she didn't. She immediately went to, chemo. And I was like, why you going so fast? And she's like, they say I got to go. I said, you don't, though. It's your body. You choose. They always going to say that. That's the answer they say to everybody. It's the same answer. It's like a actor. They have what they're supposed to say.
And we know the cancer didn't get there. It didn't get there overnight. So it's like, okay, you have some time to where you can sit back like you did, research and figure out exactly what's the best treatment. But I agree, they will rush you and be like, okay, you need to do this right now. This is the time that you need to get in. And if you notice, all of the appointments are like back to back. You're getting scans, you're getting the biopsies, you're getting the ultrasound, like everything is like back to back, to where you really don't have a chance to really even think about anything, because
I had all those same appointments, but I also was thinking I was doing a lot of praying and talking to God.
And you have to, seriously, it's because a person going through it, you can lose yourself going through all of those appointments and lose your faith in God, because you're like, really, God, I'm going through all of this and I'm expecting you, at the end of these tests for them to say, no, there's no cancer. We made a mistake, but it's like you going through all of this, but you have tunnel vision going through it because you're really not taking time out to think about what really am I doing? This is my life. This is my body. I get one body. And once you damage it, it takes a long time
with
to
chemo,
get back.
You damage it even more. That's why I chose to reset it. I'm like vegan. It just, so this is how I look at it. People, this is I've had this question a lot. People say, what did you think about when you had your why me moment?
Yes.
And I tell them simple. I didn't have a why me moment. I went in there, I just talked to him everywhere. I mean, he everywhere. And I said, I was in the house though, and I said, what are you doing now? That's what I didn't have a why me. I had a, what is you doing? You always doing something. And it was, and that's why I think it was different for me too, because I wasn't like, why me? I think, divine order and everything happens for a reason. Me and my grandmother, who I helped transition into, that, we had an estranged relationship, very estranged. But when she got sick, I still took on that. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't, I could have easily been like, she don't even talk to me. But God was like, that doesn't matter. That's not, my heart isn't set up that way anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I took on that and to watch, take her to those things and to do those things and be there with her. And I think that was already him in the working, preparing me for what he's doing now, because he's been doing so many amazing things. And even with the trying to advocate and the breast cancer and, giving me a voice and the natural way, because to do what I did, a lot of people don't like it. I get a lot of backlash. You would not believe, so much backlash, because people are like, oh, whatever. And it takes somebody who has thick skin to be able to handle that and say, I don't care what you say. But I'm speaking for me. I'm speaking for people who want this,
And it's your body. It's your body.
It is. It's your body. And I was just overwhelmed with everything that I'm trying to do with the breast cancer and the 501c3. And I said, God, you're doing too much. You're giving me too much. I can't get the one thing done for you. Put something else on my mat, and I'm on the nose writing this. And I be sometimes I'm like, oh, let me get the notebook. Here you go. I said, I was having a mental breakdown last week. I said, you're giving me too much. You're doing too much. And then he said, no, shut up. I'm not doing enough. Watch what I'm going to do with you. And I said, I ain't ready. And I've been saying that for like 2 weeks. I had been telling a close friend of mine that. And I went to an event yesterday for Chicago 300 Black women. It was amazing. It was very refreshing and beautiful. It reassured me in the Black woman, the professional Black woman culture. It was just everything. But at the end of the event, one of the ladies, she's a counselor, her name is Alicia. She came, we did a breathing alignment exercise, and we did a meditation prayer, and she was coming around helping people breathe. And when she started, she was all the way on the other side of the room. She was nowhere near me. I had never met her a day before this in my life. She walked up, she touched my chest, but I meditate all the time. So when I start to breathe, I automatically go into a trance. I can meditate. The noise, I won't even hear it. So she came, she touched me, she said something, and I couldn't hear, because by the time I was coming out, she was gone. So I went over there to her after the event was over, and I said, I'm sorry. I introduced myself, and I said, you said something to me I didn't understand. I was in a trance. She said, I didn't say anything to you. God said that. And God said, get ready. Just like that. She said, and he said that, get ready, because you ready for whatever he's about to do. So get prepared. And I said, I never had talked to her, nothing. I said, 2 weeks, I've been telling people he keep putting these things here, and I keep telling him no. And she said, well, he done said, it's happening. So get ready.
Like whether he already prepared you, like you said, when you was going through it with your grandmother, he was already preparing you and just giving you a glimpse of what he wants and needs you to do. And so, you're already that willing vessel that's already out here advocating. And I like that you're not being silent about, how you decided to do it your way, because a lot of women and men as well need to know, you don't have to be rushed when you go into the doctor and you get this diagnosis, that you can take some time.
You've had it all year. Why you got to go to chemo next week?
Exactly. It didn't grow overnight. So take time to research it and find out what's the best move for you, and not for the doctors and for the dollar signs that they're trying to they make with this cancer. Because we already know cancer is a $1 billion industry.
Billion.
Yes.
That's why when people, I said my doctor charged $100 per visit. Yours charge $1,000. Pick your battles.
Pick your battles. I like that. If you guys are just tuning in, this is Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell. We're live on Intellectual Radio, and I'm speaking with Angie Money, who is a breast cancer survivor. She is a blogger as well as an entrepreneur, and she's sharing her journey with us. And we know that everybody's journey is a little different, so I'm hoping that individuals are listening who probably just got diagnosed, that they're listening to Angie and they're going to take some time out to do things their way, because at the end of the day, you have to live with your results. Everybody else is going to go home and go to bed, and do their own thing, but you have to deal with it your way. Angie Rizal says, never stop telling your story, Angie Money. Never stop telling your story. And then Lisa Adams
for
said,
anybody
get
who
ready.
is listening and they are just diagnosed, the blog is not just written, it's a video blog. So I'm very intimate. I'm very transparent about doctor's appointments. I even have the doctor, when I'm telling my doctor, she said, you got a chemo. I told, no.
I saw that.
I'm very, very detailed, very intimate. I have more footage, but I don't want to put everything at one time. It's so much. I did a full video journey. I have something, all kind of stuff. I just haven't put everything on there because I want people to get on there and see. And then also this week I already have added, I just haven't opened that aspect of the page up, but it's on there. It's going to have my journey. If you want to take a more natural approach, it's going to be on the website. The resources are going to be there. They're not forced. They're just there for you, just if you want to look at it, and all the resources will be there. I'm going to have some things on there from other breast cancer survivors, own businesses. I'm going to put your book on there, of course, because I was telling them last night about that book. I even started reading. I said, I can't wait to start reading it when I get, after this month is over. And she was like, I just was telling the name. I said, it's a great book. It's called When Warriors Talk Godless. She said, the counselor's like, I got to read that. I said, yes, so that's going to be on there. My other one, she has hair drops. I've been using that. All of those things will be on there. I don't want to just tell you what I did. I want to help you remain beautiful. Beauty comes from the inside out. And what we exude on the inside shows on the outside. Take control. Be happy.
Be happy. Because
your body is your temple.
Yes. Because a lot of people, when you think about a cancer diagnosis, it's like beauty is the last thing that people think about. It's like, oh, you about to lose some hair, you about to lose some weight, you about to look horrible.
Who cares about that hair?
Exactly.
But who cares? What?
Trust me.
We still got a face.
Exactly. And, the hair grows back. The body, like you said, the body resets itself. The hair will grow back. You just have to make sure that you're doing the things and you're putting the right things in your body in order for it to do that. And the fact that, Angie is giving you the information to let you know that it's possible to reset your body to function like God intended it to function. It's a lifestyle, so it's not something.
And I'm going to try to do monthly self-help support groups too. So that's one of the things I want to do. Because we want to have a safe place where we can come, and I want people to come in and try to get, if they had a bad week and chemo wasn't good, I wanted them to come in and get a taste of, to be beautiful. That's what I want.
To be beautiful. Cancer is not, you don't have to look at cancer as a death sentence. I always say that it's an awakening to live your best life. So you get that cancer diagnosis, and then you start living, because a lot of us just be going from day to day, and we're really not living. We're really not operating in the purpose that God intended us to do.
Yes.
And so, for me, it was a wake-up call, and God is like, okay, you've been living all this time for yourself. Now I got your attention. Now what you gonna do? And I had no choice. I just had to surrender and say, okay, Lord, what is it that you need me to do? And, his plan is so much better than our plan. And
he know how to get our attention.
Girl, I was like, he's so strategic. It's just like,
Oh my God, don't so we give you stuff.
You look back and you be like, really, God? Okay, all right, I get you. Yes, because I had the opportunity to sit with my sister that passed from cancer. I sat at her one and only chemo appointment 3 years before I was diagnosed. And then I looked back on it like, okay, God was preparing me, like, okay. And I wasn't, my mind was somewhere else at the time. I wasn't really thinking about that. But, if you tune into God, then He'll let you know what's going on and what He needs you to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of times we tune into somebody else or ourselves, and
Mm-hmm.
but once you tune into Him, like Angie is doing, then He'll guide you. He'll tell you what you need to do. You just got to have
He's
that faith,
something else.
girl. You just look back and you just laugh. You be like, oh my goodness, like. And I was thinking about a quote. It says, faith doesn't always mean that God is going to change your situation, but sometimes it means that He'll change you so that that situation will change. So He's not going to say, okay, I'm gonna take you through cancer this way. No, He's going to reroute you a different way. So when you
Mm-hmm.
come out of that, you have that message. You have that ministry
Just because
to
you
where
don't
you're
see him,
blessing.
don't mean he ain't working.
Mm-mm.
That
They
don't mean just because you want him right now, he ain't got your attention when just because you like, because I wanted you now. Yeah, but if I gave it to you now, you wouldn't appreciate it. So I got to do it something else. I got to show you why you need me.
Yes.
Because if I just let you keep doing that, you ain't gonna really see. So I got to show you.
Yes.
So he got to get your attention. He got to get it. He
Girl,
be getting it.
you know what? I always say he sent a boulder because he'll send a little pebble and you'd be like, oh, okay. Then he send the rock and you can feel the rock, but when he send the boulder, you like, okay, Lord, I'm gonna need you to help me move this boulder because you can't move it on your own. So he knows how to get our attention.
I was blessed though. I will say that before I got diagnosed, I was already on a self-healing journey, building myself better as a woman, a mother, spiritually, emotionally. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So before I got diagnosed, I was already reassured in him. So I had that's why I didn't have a why me moment. I didn't. Even when they said I was dying, I told that lady, I told her just like that, I ain't got time to be down this shit. My daughter finna graduate from high school. I got to be there for graduation, prom. You know how long I done worked for this? And I'm going to be there. Girl, I ain't got time to be talking about no damn. And my mom used to be like, you keep working and going. I said, I have to keep going. I said, if somebody talks, I said, everybody should, and I know this is harsh, have a brush with something like cancer or brush with death. It changes your life dramatically. But I said, if went into a room and they told you was going to die in 6 months, do you start preparing to die or do you start living? Which one? That choice is yours.
That choice is yours. And I would encourage you to start living now. Don't wait until you get a cancer diagnosis. Start living your life now and doing the things that you want to do. I heard Will Smith said, do it in fear. So if you're afraid, just do it anyway. Do it afraid.
Yeah. But, and it's not any, and this is more to what I want to advocate about. It's not a 40 and over thing anymore. It's an any woman thing. Everybody, when it's 40. No, it's not. All the people that I've gotten close with mostly are all under 40. It's not a 40 thing. Ladies, check out those breasts. Check them out. And when and what I want to do is be able to get a grant, because I know I had such a hard time even trying to get a mammogram because I was so young. I was under 35. They really was giving me a hard time. I went into that place and I sat in that mammogram office at UIC for about 4 or 5 hours. I would not leave. I was in there crying because the lady was rejecting me, saying, oh, your doctor didn't give you the right kind of referral and you're going to have to go see another doctor, go back to your doctor and come back another time. Then we don't have an appointment for this. I said, I'm not leaving here, lady. I'm not leaving today. I'm not. I called my doctor crying. I said, can you please fix this now? I cannot leave here today. My breath, I knew I was sick. It was hurting. I had fluid leaking, and I knew I was sick, but like all people, I was blowing it off. I was like, okay, because I had just started this, I was like, let me take care of that first. But when I opened my business, I said to myself, I said, God, you got to get me through this. I done spent all my life savings on this business. I ain't got nothing else. It got to work. You know what I'm saying? So I knew I was sick, but I was trying to open my business because I had took everything and put it into that. It got to work. I said, and then when I'm sick, the business is going to kind of run itself, right? That's what I said. So as soon as I opened the doors of my business, I made the mammogram appointment, and they gave me such a hard time. It took a month, over a month. And I don't feel like, and I told one woman after I was almost getting discouraged, I told the lady, I said, you know what, ma'am, it's people like you. She's on the breast cancer hotline. And she was very not compassionate, nothing, no empathy, no nothing. Same garbage about the runarounds and the months and everything. I said, well, then how much it costs me to just pay for it myself? Well, you have to go to somebody. We don't do that here. It was just so much. And no woman, I told her, you know what? It's people like you. And she was Black. It's people like you. The reason like people like me die. Because I'm telling you, I got a lump. I'm telling you, my grandmother died of cancer. I'm telling you, there's a family history. I'm telling you, I'm hurting. And you're telling me you can't get me in. How could another woman do that to another woman? I'm on the phone crying, begging for you to, I'm calling for you to help me. And you to turn me away. I said, you have no business working on this fucking hotline, and you need to quit your job, and you have a nice day. And I don't want women to have to go through that, because there's some women who don't have that strength. Me, I said, I'm still not giving up. I went and I made an appointment to USC, and I didn't leave until they gave me a mammogram that day. And I thank God I sat there. Because if I had a whack, I would have never went back. And who knows where I would be.
I can only imagine how many other young women that's under the age of 40 that are going through something like that or have been through something like that and just decide to be like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to go. I'm not going back. And
that's what I want to, I'm trying, finishing my 501c3, then I'm going to try to get grants. I want them to be able to say, I know I need this. They're giving me a hard time, or, I'm scared. And that's okay too, because I can go with you and walk through that door with you. We're going to walk in with our heads up and we're walking out the same way, no matter the results, because you have to put yourself in a different mindset. If you go in there with that mindset, that's what you're going to come out with. So I always tell them, I've been with a couple people. We're going in with our heads up. We're coming out the same way, no matter the result. The result does not determine if our head going to be up or down. We do.
Lisa Adams said, say it, speak life. And then Tracy says, she said, I ain't got time to be sick. you had to run your business. You ain't got time to be sick. I'm up here trying to run my business, and here come cancer. No, cancer does not fit into this equation. So you have to operate like it does not fit into the equation. And that's exactly what Angie did. She just kept on moving because of your relationship with God, and because you knew that what you wanted was more important than what the doctors wanted.
Absolutely, because I wanted to live. I just really had started to love myself 2 years ago. You think I went through all of this pain, all of this growth, to only live a little bit of it? No. No, I wanted to live.
Angie, did you ever go out and get any type of like psychological help, or did you do any support groups?
I tried. I tried. I would get on these Facebook groups with women, most of them, and I don't know what your audience is, and and I'm not. I don't care who says what, but most of them were Caucasian, not women of color. And I went to even a couple groups, and everybody in there, to me, I was more jolly, more happy. That's just my personality. They made me feel unwelcomed. They was not friendly. It was like walking into a room with dead people. Even the group chats, everybody only talked about how much medicine they was on, how much pain they were in, how much suffering they had, how bad it was, all the bad things. All my nails are blocked, all my hair is falling, and I get that. And that's okay sometimes. But when you keep talking about death and how sick you are and how miserable you are and how jacked up everything is, what do you think that does to you mentally? That is not what my support group is for. I am here to speak life into you, encourage you, uplift you, inspire you. We're not going to be talking about all. I mean, if you want to vent, that's fine. But for the most part, what are the good things that's going on in your life? I understand you had chemo, but I also understand you're still a woman. So, because even though people want to hear about you being sick, we also have other issues too. We might be married, can't appease our husband, worried about if our marriage going to fail, worried about if our children going whatever, if our job going to fire us. There are other things going on with us besides that. And let's talk about that, and let's try to make you happy on the inside so that can exude on the outside.
I totally agree with you. Like I didn't do the groups because of that. Like I was like, I could be at home and go through the same thing. So I said I decided not to do the groups, and some people was like, "Yo, you need the groups. You should do." No, I don't. I had my support system around me. I was in
Mm-hmm.
church, and between them and church, they poured into me, so I didn't need that. You can whatever
Mm-hmm.
makes you feel better and gets you over that hump, so that you won't fall
Mm-hmm.
into a deep depression. Then that's what you do. So, and I agree with you. The support group should
And
not
that's why I
be
want my
about
group to
that.
be different. I want to do fun stuff. I
Yes.
want to forget about all the miserable shit we have to think about. And I'm sorry for cursing. All the miserable things we have to think about when we go to the doctor, all the worries, all the pressure. Let's embark on you as a woman, your beauty.
Yeah.
Let's try to make you a little bit more happier. What can we do to make your week a little bit lighter? Because I know it's been rough. I
Yeah.
want to make you smile. I want you to leave out of here feeling refreshed.
Yes.
Because there's already enough going on.
Lisa Adams says she had to learn to change the conversation. She said she sat in a hospital planning a birthday party because God had already confirmed that she would live.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with you. We focus so much on the negative about cancer because that's all we really see in the public, in the
Mm-hmm.
media. That's all we see. So, to have something different and refreshing, and that's really gonna, pump some life into us. I totally agree. That's the support groups that needs to be out there. Rizal says
Mm-hmm.
you have to surround yourself with the right people on your support system. You do. Your support team's supposed to be people who pour into you, not bring the
Mm-hmm.
negative, and also snap you back into reality to where if you feeling like, oh, I'm about to die, I don't feel like
My
this is
support system
working.
wasn't good because we went on one accord. And that's why for me it was bad. My whole family wanted me to do that mess, except for my one cousin and one of my really good friends. They knew I wasn't going to do it because I didn't even have a common Tylenol in my house at the time I had cancer. I didn't even have Tylenol. So I said to myself, I'm going to take all this mess. I don't even take Tylenol barely, you know? And so, but my whole family, it was horrible because it was COVID, not that. So it was over, everything was oversensitive. But my whole family was like, oh my God, she not going to do this. I would hear them like I can't hear. She not going to do the cancer. Or like things don't get back to you. Oh, she going to, yes. Either way, whatever way. And I tell people all the time, if God take me right now, right here, this moment, whatever I done did at this point, I'm completely happy with, and I know He didn't use me to His fullest ability.
Exactly.
That's it.
And you did the right thing. Like you have to create your own support team, and it may not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily be family. So you have to have people there that's really going to support
Girl, I was
you.
on Instagram stalking people. I was on there trying to find. I was hashtag Black Cancer Survivors, hashtag Black everything, and
Love
because I
it.
needed people to be like me,
Yes.
look like me, who can relate to me, who can be in the situation, not the rich white Caucasian woman who has the best insurance. I needed somebody like me
That's so
who
important.
could relate to me. And I was on there stalking. I found me a couple all beautiful people. And I went just like this. I said, hey, I don't know anybody. I've been to these groups. They depressing. I can't, my family can't relate. I feel like I can't talk to nobody. And I watched your story. I went down your whole page. I almost feel like I know you already. And I need to talk to you. Can you call me? Just like that.
You have to be aggressive with it. You got to be
And
aggressive
they
with your
called me,
life.
and we had some, and I made two great relationships just like that. Just like that. I said, and I need to talk. I need somebody to be like me, be from where I'm from, understand how I feel. I want to relate to you. And I was stalking. But and I don't regret it. I met two great people. Have a great relationship with now. And they put me, and that's how I was at the event yesterday. So you do. And even her, she was like, I salute you because I wish I had the you know, how you feel about taking charge. So even though I was wanting her for support, she was saluting me. I'm like, no, I'm coming to you. I don't know. Look, I'm looking for you for answers, and she calling me for help with she want my stuff. But, you know, it's just amazing how God just puts people places wherever, you know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Angie, I went to her for help, and she was calling me for my vitamins.
See, you just don't know who you're gonna meet on this experience. You don't know. So I mean, some of my best people in my life right now I've met because of my cancer diagnosis. So I'm really grateful for that.
And we different people, you know. And not to say, you know, y'all regular people, you know, y'all ain't special too, but us warriors, I think we something special, because anybody who has had and not just us, but I just like to say we special because we are. But you know, anybody who has had a brush with death, because we look at life differently. Oh boy, almost die and see how it'll change you.
Hello.
So we have a different aspect on the whole life thing, period.
We do. We
just do.
So Angie, give some advice. And I mean, this whole interview has been about you giving advice, but give some words of wisdom to someone who's just diagnosed with cancer.
I would say just the same thing I said. Are you going to take charge of your life? Or are you going to let somebody else tell you something about your body that you've lived with your entire life? And are you going to choose to die, or are you going to choose to live? Because once you're mentally dead, you might as well just count yourself out.
Ooh. That's some good advice.
Yeah.
Can you give them the blog information?
Absolutely. It's www.beautyincancer.org. And, you know, stay tuned, subscribe. Once I get the self-help support groups, all the women are welcome. One of my first events is going to be a pink paint party that I'm working on. And I just want to inspire. I want it to be like a safe haven for us, a place that we can share, you know, these issues, and even after the cancer. And that's what the blog is about too. I know we have issues with our, you know, hormones, estrogen, all of that. I'm about to release a product for all natural supplement that's going to help boost our libido for women who have either suffered from cervical cancer or who their cancer was estrogen based and they're on, you know, estrogen blockers, or I forget what the other medicine is called. I forget. But I know that it puts you into like early menopause. So this is a supplement that's going to help you still feel like a woman. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's very important. And people are like, oh, you think, but we're still women. Yeah. And we still have to remain women at the end of the day. And yeah, we had that issue, but we still want to be a woman. We want to be a mother. We want to be a wife. We want to be you know what I'm saying? We want to be that.
And that's the beauty in cancer. Angie, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and just being vulnerable enough to advocate for yourself as well as other women. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I'm honored. Thank you guys for having me.
You are so welcome. I'll leave you with these words of wisdom. Faith does not always mean that God would change the situation. Sometimes he changes you. So join me next Monday right here at 6 p.m. on Intellectual Radio. As always, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we are changing lives one warrior at a time.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell. To find out more about Warriors Talk,
hello?
Yes. Give me 1 second.
You want me to hang up?
Yes. Thank you so much, Angie. I appreciate it.
No problem. You have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on intellectualradio.com for Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell, where we encourage, educate, and empower you into action.
Yeah.